And then we saw Manny Gambarian last Saturday night. Manny Gambarian, guy from Ultimate Fighter for 5 season, I think it was, where he broke his shoulder against Nate Diaz. To tell you the truth, I think Manny Gambarian could have beaten Nate Diaz. You know, but that remains to be seen if they ever fight in the near future. Manny Gambarian, a great lightweight fighter. He's a champion in the making. And Manny submitted the fighter he was fighting. I forget his name. He escapes me. Manny Gambarian, though, returned to the octagon, successfully won. Another guy, and that pretty much goes in for UFC 79 Nemesis for all the matches of note. You know, I talk about Eddie Sanchez, Sol Palalé, the boring fight of the year. If I was going to give it, if I was going to say, thumbs up to boring fight of the year, that'd probably be the fight, because that fight was just awful. I didn't want to get into it because I'll get all fired up, and I don't even want to get into that fight right now. It's just so boring. I mean, really. You're going into a fight, and those guys, all they did was hug the entire fight, and Eddie Sanchez acted like he was some tough guy after the fight. Like he was some, great fighter. I don't think so. Now, get back to my other reviews now. I think I'm going to review first is my book. As you see here, Christmas, every single year I get DVDs, books, what have you. I got 2 books this year. The next book that I'm reading, I have 2 books. I'm reading the second book right now, but the first book I finished up was Batista Unleashed. You see that right there. The great book. Great book. Batista, he describes growing up in a tough neighborhood and how he overcame it and all this, how his dad was walked out on him and everything. Batista talks about how he's a bodybuilder, a bouncer, how he became a professional wrestler at the age of 30, pretty old age. But to tell you the truth, Batista, it kind of drives me nuts when wrestlers in the professional wrestling come out with books or DVDs when they're like only halfway through their career. I can see like a guy like Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, or Jerry the King Lawler, or something like that when they came out with their books. But if they go on the road like say Mick Foley and they put out more books, and I'm happy about it. But with Batista putting out his book, kind of drove me nuts because Batista, he's a great story. It's a great book. Don't get me wrong. But I want to hear about the old guys. The guys that are nearing the end of their careers. It kind of drives me nuts when I read this guy's book, and I'm like, oh, great. I'm caught up in his career so far, but there's so much more is going to happen in this guy's career. He pretty much stops at WrestleMania 23 against The Undertaker. That's where the book pretty much, shortly after WrestleMania 23, he talks up till Edge won the belt from The Undertaker, when he cashes Money in the Bank. But, you get my point. There's so much more that happens to Batista. So much more happened in this year that could have been in this book. And hopefully Batista puts out a second book sometime in the future. If I'm going to rank this out of 5 stars, I'll give it 3.5. The reason I give it 3.5 stars, again, great book. If it was a bad book, it would get 2 or 1 stars or even no stars. But this book was really good. I liked it. It kept me intrigued the entire time. But the reason why I gave it 3.5 stars is because Batista's too young. And even though he may be forced to put out a book, he's too young to put out a book now, and that drives me kind of nuts. So he gets 3.5 stars because knowing he has so much more of his career yet to go, he gets 3.5 stars on his book. Now, first DVDs I'm going to talk about is John Cena, My Life. John Cena right there. The extras are great. I'll read you a couple of the extras right now. He's got they have on the WWE website, they have 5 questions with the champ, and they have every single one, I believe, on here. So if you like those, you like to visit WWE.com and like to see those, he's got every single one of them up till December 22nd, 2006 on this DVD, and that's great. He's got interview and promos on here. John Cena at WrestleMania goes Hollywood promo. He has a couple promos from when he was a prototype in Ohio Valley Wrestling on here. He has his OVW farewell match against Randy Orton on this DVD. And I quit match between him and JBL for the WWE Championship was an outstanding match. It was a match of the year candidate back in 2005. 6-man tag where he was partners with HBK and Hulk Hogan. Takes in an RVD at One Night Stand, and his TLC match for the title against Edge from Unforgiven 2006 on here. And they go into his card collection on here too, and the extras. One thing that really disappointed me was the John Cena, even though this was a DVD, he did not really participate in it. You know how when you watch DVDs and they go through, they tell the stories, and you have the guy that's the feature star of this, DVD, like Shawn Michaels, John Cena, Ric Flair, or whatever. He'll talk. He'll give you stories and everything, and he'll give his opinion on stuff things. But really, it was just John Cena's family and friends that gave their opinions on certain things, such as Edge, JBL, Ohio Valley, him growing up, all that stuff. This DVD, I recommend it. 4 stars. It's a great DVD. It's a nice 4-star DVD. If it had 5 stars, maybe 4.5 stars if John Cena participated in this DVD a little bit more. But the extras are great. You can't say anything bad about this. It's a 3-disc set. It's worth your money. It's 4 stars. It's a great DVD. Last DVD I'm going to review is The Heartbreak and Triumph, the Shawn Michaels story. It's kind of the companion piece to the book, and it's an incredible book. It was a Heartbreak Triumph book, and this book this DVD actually was as good as the book almost, because you ain't got to read. You can actually just sit back, relax, and watch it. Again, he's got great extras on here, and this book and this DVD this DVD was as good as the Bret Hart DVD, I'll say. But a couple of the extras, he's got tons of matches on here. One from World Class Championship Wrestling's on here, where he took on Billy Jack Haynes. They took on the Midnight Rockers against Buddy Rose and Doug Summers for the AWA Tag Team Championship matches on here. His Royal Rumble from his first Rumble, where the Rockers took on the Orient Express. He has the entire Royal Rumble match on here back from 1995 when he entered number 1 and won it. Remember that melodramatic one? He has the Shawn Michaels vs. Kurt Angle Vengeance rematch from WrestleMania 21. Shawn Michaels against John Cena, a rematch from Raw. And I believe that's the hour one on here. I haven't viewed that match yet. I believe that's the hour match that they had, the hour draw. And that was a fantastic match. That's match of the year candidate almost. But there's so many great things on here. And then you got some deleted scenes. He's got a couple of stories on here about being a high school prankster and everything. He's got the promos from he's got a promo from the Larry King spoof from his Hogan feud. And he's got the Heartbreak Kid Hotel Tell Me a Lie music video. Stupid, from the early 90s. Ridiculous. Looking back, I know it's kind of funny to watch. And all the chapters in here just goes pretty much throughout his entire career, like his book did. This is a great DVD. Shawn Michaels was involved in this DVD. It's another 3-disc DVD set, and this DVD gets 5 stars. This DVD gets 5 stars because Shawn Michaels' participation and the way it stacked up against Heartbreak and Triumph and the book, and did a little bit better, and did a little bit better than the book, and I really enjoyed it. That's it for the Scotch Wrestling World show from this week. You have any questions or comments about this show? You want to ask me a question? I'll answer on my next show. You can go to scotchwrestlingworld.blogspot.com and ask me a question there. Or you can go to my MySpace page, myspace.com/ScotchWrestlingWorld. My next show will start reviewing the week, and I have a couple more DVDs to review, and possibly my second book. Have a great weekend, everybody, and Happy New Year.